Allah is my heart's speech, your mercy is what I beseech. Keep in my heart your remembrance, and in your deen allow me to advance. Help me in my quest, permit me to pass the ultimate test. Help me in my quest, permit me to pass the ultimate.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على عبده ورسوله المبعوث رحمة للعالمين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Dear brothers and sisters in Islam, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to this new episode of Ask Huda Live, coming to you from Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. Until we get your phone calls, and you will find the numbers inshallah at the bottom of the screen, we will answer some of the questions pending from the emails. Galima says, is sujood as-sahu compulsory to do if a person is in constant state of doubt? That is, doubting number of rak'ahs, doubting number of sajdas with almost every single prayer. The answer is yes. What she's referring to is a severe case of OCD, when people continuously, each and every prayer, have doubt whether I added some rak'ahs or sajdas, did I pray enough or not enough, and all of this is from shaitan. So you should do your level best, try your level best not to allow shaitan to overcome you and to destroy your prayer. However, while you're trying this, yes, if you're in doubt, you should always offer the two forgetfulness prostrations, whether you added or subtracted, whether it's before salam or after salam, as described to you before. Sheikh Bilal says, is Tahiyatul Masjid required in Haram Mosque before starting any Nafil Tawaf? This is a misconception that a lot of the Muslims have. They believe that all masjids, you have to pray 2 rak'ahs before you sit down, and this is correct. But when it comes to Al-Masjid Al-Haram, the holy mosque of Mecca, they say no, it's a different story. You have to offer the tawaf, which is Tahiyatul Masjid Al-Haram. And this is a misconception. The holy mosque of Mecca is like any other mosque. If you want to sit down, you must pray 2 rak'ahs before sitting down. But if you go for your umrah and you begin with your tawaf, then you have no problem because you didn't sit down. After you finish your tawaf, you go and perform 2 rak'ahs behind the maqam of Ibrahim. This suffices. So these 2 rak'ahs that you have prayed allows you to sit afterwards whenever you want to do so. Umar from Pakistan. Yes, brother Umar.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
How are you, Sheikh? Fine?
I'm fine, Jazakallah khair for asking.
Sheikh, I have a question.
Yes.
My brother had closed account in the bank.
Okay.
So after closing the account, the bank gives interest money as well, extra interest money.
Okay.
So my question is that where this interest money should be spent? Can you give it to the poor people?
Okay, I will answer your question. Any more questions?
Okay.
Wajazak. Abdullah from Wa alaikum salam. Abdullah from Nigeria. I think we've lost brother Abdullah. So brother Umar's questions is about the bank giving interest over an account that his brother closed. What to do with bank interest? Whenever you have haram money that comes to you without your will, or you have received it through haram means, and you would like to cleanse and purify your wealth from it, it is recommended that you give it in means of charity. And you will not be rewarded for that. You're not intending to get closer to Allah Azza wa Jal through this filthy money or dirty money, but you want to cleanse your wealth from it. So give it to means of charity, whether you give it to the poor, you give it to someone who's in hospital and cannot afford his medical treatment, you give it to someone who needs to admit his children to school, or to buy them clothes, or to pay the bills. All of this is permissible, inshallah. Muti' al-Rahman's question, what should I do if I forget to sit for the tashahhud in the second rak'ah? Now he's referring to a prayer such as Maghrib or such as Dhuhr and Asr and Isha, where you have 3 or 4 rak'ahs, which means that you have 2 tashahhud. One in the second rak'ah, and the third one, or the second one, is in the third of Maghrib, or the fourth in Dhuhr, Asr, and Isha. So he said that I stood. Okay. So let me finish my question, and I'll take man's question from Dubai. Give me a second, please. So if you stand up from the second rak'ah to the third without sitting for tashahhud, and you remember, you cannot go back because you already stood up for the third rak'ah, which is a pillar, and the second rak'ah, the second tashahhud, or the first tashahhud in the second rak'ah is mandatory. So you cannot leave something that is a pillar to something that is mandatory. What to do? Continue your prayer as normal and do your tashahhud for the last rak'ah, and after you finish, offer 2 prostration of forgetfulness and then offer salam, and your prayer is complete, inshallah. Man from Dubai, or man from Dubai?
Yes, assalamu alaikum, sir.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Sir, my name is Sister Moon, and I want to ask 2 questions.
Yes.
My first question is that I teach in a Islamic environment school, but British curriculum,
Okay.
and I teach English. So there is a chapter about monsters in it. Before I start the chapter, I make it a point to tell the students that, in Islam, such things are not there, because so many chapters have wizards, and they have to write stories about monsters and everything. So is this job permissible? And my second question is...
I didn't get your first question. You teach in English in a school, and you're objecting on the material you teach?
Yes, I mean the books that we get from Britain, the British curriculum school, we have to teach the students about monsters and wizards and witches. But before we do the chapter, I tell the students that in Islam such things are not allowed. But because we are following British curriculum, we have to study this chapter. It's not in our hands to skip it.
Okay. Your second question.
So is this allowed? And my second question is, if I want to sell medical books, and those products have female pictures on it, is it allowed to sell them? Because it's like I am just a retailer, and I bring books, medical books, and educational books, they have some pictures of females on it, and males.
Okay, I will answer the question, inshallah.
Jazakallah.
Brother Atir from Saudi Arabia?
Yes.
Yes, bro.
Yeah, yep. I'm just waiting for my turn, yeah.
Your turn is on, Akhi. What is your question?
Sorry?
This is Asim.
Oh, okay, sorry, Sheikh.
No problem.
Alaikum
salam, ya akhi.
Yep. I have 2 questions. My first question is that I was reading different fatwas regarding celebrating normal birthdays, and most of the fatwas, including that this is haram because it comes under imitating others.
Okay.
So my confusion is that now the birthdays are very common all over the world, including majority of the Muslims are doing it. So it is not imitating others anymore. So the main conclusion is that even if we consider this coming under imitating others, just because the origin was from others, then also the jeans, wearing tie and coats, all are initiated by others, not by Muslims. So how come we are not saying that this is haram, wearing tie and coat, but celebrating birthdays are haram? This is my first question.
Second question?
Second question is regarding placing the dead body in the grave. I was reading in a book, it states that when you place the body in the chamber, it should be placed on its right side facing Qibla, and in a way that as we sleep according to Sunnah. But what I have seen in my country, in Pakistan, that normally they put the body as if the back is touching the ground and only the face turned to Qibla. So I just want clarification, what is the correct opinion, and if you can please give the evidence, this would be great.
Okay, I will answer your question, inshallah.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Brother Masood from Oman.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Sheikh, I wanted to understand Allah's word. بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا تتخذوا اليهود والنصارى أولياء بعضهم أولياء بعض. I just wanted a brief understanding in this ayah.
Okay. Inshallah.
That's all.
Okay, I will try my best, inshallah. Abu Iman from Emirates.
Hello, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Sheikh, I have three questions, if you don't mind.
Yes.
One is, I would like to know what is the ruling for, this is more specific for working for a bank full-time, and then also there's a distinction where if you work as a consultant or an auditor, external auditor, or as a trainer for the staff. So it's a short-term project, working for a bank, or training staff, or doing a little bit of consulting in IT.
Okay.
And the other question is, I have some friends watching now. They're not feeling too well, actually, in terms of they're sick. So can you give a message of hope to them? I think that would be very, inshallah, very good for them. And three, I was wondering if you could clarify. Sometimes I see when I go to I see posters in the conventions as well as in the masajid. I see the name of Allah and the name of the Prophet Muhammad side by side. Can you clarify what the ruling on this, please, is?
I will do that, inshallah, Abu Iman.
Jazakallah khair.
Hayyak Allah wa jazaak akhi. Okay, Yusuf from Saudi.
Yes, assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Okay, I want to know, because I have daughter, she is entering the masjid while she has menses.
Okay.
So I want to know if this is allowed, but the purpose for the tafsir class and learning tajweed, which they conducted inside the masjid.
Okay, I will answer your question, inshallah.
And second one,
Yes.
this is a request because I have big personal problems, so I want to ask you, I want to know what time I can ask you. I have your number, but I want to know what time I can ask you.
My number.
Your time for...
My number is always open unless I am asleep or eating or I'm giving a lecture. So you can call anytime.
Sheikh, it is okay, anytime I can call you?
Anytime in the day and night, as long as it's ringing, you have no problem. It will not bother me. I will answer.
Because I'm hesitating, I like them to call you.
No problem, anytime.
Okay, Sheikh, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, I think we have to take a break so that we can answer these questions. The sister from Dubai, so callers, please call like in 7 to 10 minutes. Don't waste your money. Let me answer the questions I have. The sister that teaches in a British curriculum in Dubai, she is saying that due to the fact that she's teaching English, there are lots of novels, stories that she is obliged to teach, but they talk about wizards, about monsters, about things that are fictional and not true. And she does her best to show to her students that this is not real, and this is against Islam, and this is false and lies. Alhamdulillah, as long as you're doing this, this is completely permissible. And it's a form of da'wah as well, so you can hit two birds with one stone. Her second question regarding selling medical books that include a lot of photographs and illustrations. As you know, there are private parts, there are certain body parts that have to be illustrated, and she is not feeling comfortable with that. Well, actually, these are for scientific reasons, and this is not your own doing. So people, and Muslims in particular, need such books to enhance their medical experience and to pursue their education, etc. I feel that this is, inshallah, permissible. Atif from Saudi Arabia, he's saying that there's an issue of banning birthday celebrations. And whenever he reads fatwas, it says that this is imitation of the kuffar. And he's complaining, he said, okay, let's compare apple to apple. Wearing jeans and wearing suits and ties is imitating of the kuffar. Riding cars and bicycles, sitting on chairs and desks, this is all imitating of the kuffar. All in all, it sounds logical, but it isn't. It's not the only reason that we imitate kuffar that it is forbidden. It is also because it's Eid. And what is the meaning of Eid? Eid has two meanings in Arabic, which is one, something that comes back time after time. So it is time bound. And also it can mean that it is place bound. So if you visit a place frequently, it becomes Eid. And that is why the Prophet in the authentic hadith said, alayhi, do not take my grave as Eid. Meaning don't frequently come and visit my grave. Because this would lead people to, after a while, making dua to the Prophet ﷺ, and after a while, worshipping the Prophet ﷺ, and this is what we see at the moment, unfortunately. So let's go back to the definition of Eid. It is not permissible in Islam to take something as a celebration or something that comes year after a year as an event. And this, plus the fact that it is originating from the disbelievers, from the non-Muslims, these two reasons, among other reasons, make it forbidden. Umar ibn Khattab, may Allah be pleased with him, came to the Prophet ﷺ, and the hadith is in Sahih. And he said, oh Prophet, not Umar, that is, a companion of the Prophet ﷺ, came to the Prophet, and it's in Sahih, Sahih Muslim. He said, oh Prophet of Allah, I have vowed that I would slaughter a camel in Buwana. And it's a location close to Mecca, or between Mecca and Medina. So the Prophet asked him two questions. Is there an idol that the disbelievers, the pagans, go and slaughter to? And he said, no. So the Prophet ﷺ asked him another question. Is there a Eid, a feast, something that people celebrate there? No idols, nothing, but the disbelievers celebrate there, so that you would look like as if you're celebrating with them. And the companion said, no. The Prophet said, fulfill your vow. So the issue of birthdays, akhi, it is first of all coming from the disbelievers, and secondly, it is reoccurring. And that is why anniversaries, marriage anniversaries, if there are still people, married couple, still celebrating it, this is not permissible. And once you open the door, once you open the Pandora box to birthdays, then you will have national days, you will have Valentine days, which is in a few days' time, and this is a pagan celebration. You will have Mother's Days, and you have Labor Days, and it keeps on generating and keeps on coming. And all of this is not in accordance to Islam. It was reported in the Sahih, when the Prophet came ﷺ to Medina, he found that the people of Medina celebrating, and he said, what is this day? What are they doing? And they said, this is Eid, O Prophet of Allah. The people of Medina celebrate in it every year. And the Prophet said, Allah Azza wa Jal has changed things. Allah Azza wa Jal has given you 2 days to celebrate throughout the year, Eid al-Adha and Eid al-Fitr. Therefore, as Muslims, we do not celebrate birthdays. We do not have a cake, which is not our customs. We do not put candles in accordance to the number of years of the person we're celebrating his birthday. We do not light the candles and tell him, happy birthday to you, happy birthday, dear so-and-so, and then make a wish and blows the candles. And if he blows them in one breath, mashallah, his wish will be fulfilled. Where are you going to? It keeps on going and going and going. All of this is not in accordance to the real Islam that we are calling people to abide by. Because this is the deen that was revealed to the Prophet ﷺ and what was practiced by his companions, and this is what we're calling people to do. Now, you can have an F-15 in your backyard, I have no problem. You can drive a Ferrari, you can ride a Harley Davidson bike. All of this is okay. This is something permissible. No one tells you what to watch, what to wear, what kind of watch, what kind of car. It has nothing to do with culture and with religion. When it comes to birthdays and the likes, this is something we have to refrain from. I hope this answers your question. The second question is, in Pakistan, he says that the people put and lay down the person, the dead, deceased, in his grave on his back, and they turn his face towards the Qibla. And this is not the Sunnah. The Sunnah is that you put him on his side with his face turning to the Qibla, and you put something to support his back, and so that he would be facing the Qibla, face and body to the Qibla. And this is the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. Mas'ud from, I think, Oman, he said, can you elaborate on the verse, لا تتخذوا اليهود والنصارى أولياء? Do not take the Jews and the Christians as your allies. Now, most of translations, they say friends, which is not a correct translation. It should be allies. And there is a difference between al-tawalli wal-wilaya. That there is a difference between taking them as allies and having them do something for us. And there's a big difference between that. Having them as allies, meaning that we are their protectors and they are our protectors. We defend them and they defend us. That we have mutual connection. That we are ready to go to war against Muslims with them. Then this may nullify our Islam if we do so. We cannot take them as allies. We can take them as business associates. We need them for training, we need them for arms, we need them to execute things for us, to do the dirty jobs for us, yes, without them having any control over us. Once they have control over us, we have a problem. Once we take them as allies more than the Muslims, and we prefer them for their kufr, for their disbelief, more than the Muslims, then you have a big problem. Abu Iman from the UAE says that we know that it is not permissible to work in interest-based banks. So what's the ruling on me auditing as a consultant their work? What's the ruling on me training the employees for different jobs? It's the same thing. Allah Azza wa Jal told us in Surah Al-Ma'idah, chapter 5, that we should, in the very beginning, that we should collaborate on virtue and good, and not collaborate on vice and evil. And if you're a consultant, if you're an auditor, you are going to cook the books. So you're going to go through interests and why did they take this much or this less on such a loan, and you would verify it or change it or write a report on it. And this is collaborating on evil. Training the employees of the bank that work in an interest-based bank, you're actually enhancing their work so that they can charge people interest and deal in riba and deal in haram more. So this is not permissible. He's asking about, his second question is a reminder. Okay, we have Ihsan from Dubai. Salam wa rahmatullah.
Good to hear your voice, Sheikh. I just have two questions for you.
Okay.
My first question is about Qiyam al-Layl. What I wanted to know was, I pray Qiyam al-Layl, and sometimes I get very sleepy and I want to pray it before midnight. But I was told I'm supposed to pray it after midnight. I wanted to know if this is correct.
Okay.
If I can pray it like at 11 or 11:30 p.m.
Okay.
And my next question was, in our company here in Dubai, I work for a great company, mashallah, some great brothers. And I manage the operations, and one of the brothers had asked me, because we receive a lot of, it's a retail company, and a lot of foreigners come from Saudi Arabia and Kuwait. So we take their money, their foreign money, and we give them the set exchange rate, and then we convert the money to dirhams here in Emirates. So one of the brothers, one of the owners of the company, had asked me, he says, you give them a higher rate so we can profit from this, correct? And I said, no, I don't want us to fall into any kind of riba or any kind of haram.
Okay.
So he had said, well, we spend a lot of money running around and doing reports and whatnot, so we should earn some sort of money on this to compensate for the losses. So I said, okay, let me ask, and let me see if this is permissible, and then I'll get back to you on it. That was my last question.
Are you working, when you exchange the money for these tourists, are you working as an agent for them, or you're actually selling it and buying it from them?
No, what we do, Chef, is actually we sell goods in the mall, and then we accept, for example, the riyal, the Saudi riyal.
Mm-hmm.
And we, after receiving, for example, the week's worth of money, I take all of the money that's foreign, and then I take it to the actual exchange, and I exchange it for dirhams. Normally, we give the customers the same rate the exchange gives us, so that way we're not making money on the exchange. We just want to make money on the product.
So
But, brother wanted me to make money on the exchange.
Brother Ihsan, one second. Let me get this straight. I'm from Saudi. I come to buy this pen from you. It is sold for 5 dirhams, which is equivalent to 5.1 riyal. So I tell you, I don't have dirhams. How much you're charging me? You say 10 riyals. Say, okay, I give you 10 riyals. Is this the case? This is what your boss. This is what your boss wants.
I would charge you the equivalent of 5 dirhams in riyal because I don't want to charge you, but the brother now wants me to charge you extra.
I understand. I will answer your question, inshallah. Fatma from Saudi.
Hello.
Yes, Fatma.
Yes, I'm from Saudi.
Yes, your question, please.
Hello, assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I have 2-3 questions to ask from you.
Yes.
Number 1 is it permissible after wudu, that is ablution, to apply hair cream, gel, moisturizer, cream on skin?
طيب. Second question.
Etc. After application, is wudu still valid?
Okay. Second question.
Okay. My second question is zakat oriented.
Okay.
If I have got jewelry as gifts
Okay.
from parents, relatives, and also as mahar, well over nisab level, am I to give zakat on my jewelry?
Is it below nisab?
So have I to
is it below nisab? Is it below nisab or above the nisab?
Well over nisab level, for sure.
Okay.
So am I to give zakat on my jewelry? If so, have I to continue zakat every year on this gold?
Okay. Third question.
Third question. Though I live in KSA presently, I am actually from Sri Lanka. In our country, we Muslims are minorities. And there are many Muslims practicing on Mauluds, customs after death, men visiting ziyarams and so on. Maulana, sheikhs coming from various other countries like South India. Many Muslims practice a lot of shirk, not knowingly and ignorantly, and are not ready to accept knowledge in the form of Muslim channels, knowledge in the form of learning the Quran recitation correctly, reading the translation with understanding, and so on. Certain part of the Muslims who are reformed, however, try to give dawah, but of no use in my opinion because it creates conflicts and arguments. The worst part is that this set of people are well-to-do in society, and they take this as an advantage, performing Hajj, giving charity for the poor, etc. How do you think we must address this issue? What is your opinion?
Okay, I will answer the question.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Jazakallah.
Ahmed from Saudi. Yes, Ahmed. Okay, Ahmed is gone. So we will take, inshallah, time. Okay, Ahmed.
Muhammad.
Yes, Ahmed. What can I do for you?
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Yes, I have acidity since 3 years. I'm on treatment that acidity.
I'm unable to understand you, Ahmed.
Acidity. Gastric problem.
Okay.
I'm on treatment, Sheikh, but still it is not smoothly. It's still on and off, and it's still I am suffering. So can you tell me any dua or medicine and migraine also, Sheikh?
Okay, I will answer your question, inshallah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, Abu Iman's second question, he says that he has some friends watching this program, and they are bedridden, and they have certain illnesses. So can you give them an advice? Well, this is a test from Allah Azza wa Jal. You see people who are healthy, well-built, they have lots of money, and they have gorgeous wives and beautiful children, and they've got it made. Yet they are from the people of hell. And you see people that are poor, they have calamities after calamities, the wife is disobedient, the children are drug addict, the girls are into prostitution, they try their best to implement Islam and Quran, yet they have so many illnesses in their bodies. And they are from the people of paradise. How do we know? We don't know. We say that this is a possibility because Allah created us to test us. And part of the test that we are is to see whether we're grateful or whether we are complaining and objecting all the time. What is in you is in you. What you're suffering from, it's a test from Allah Azza wa Jal. You can weep and cry from now till the day of judgment. It will not change. You can bang your head in the wall, it will not change. So as long as it's there, the only thing, the only option you have is to be positive, to think that what does not kill you makes you stronger. And Allah Azza wa Jal is testing you. Allah Azza wa Jal is rewarding you. The Prophet tells you, alayhi salatu wasalam, that the calamity of illness and sickness would remain in the individual. It continues for so long until it leaves him walking on earth without a single sin. Imagine. Now, how long you've been sick, Allah Azza wa Jal is erasing your bad deeds. Not only that, Allah is rewarding you in accordance to what you used to do in your health. So if you used to pray 7 rak'ahs of night prayer, when you were healthy, now you're bedridden and you're unable to do this, this is recorded. If you used to fast Mondays and Thursdays, this is on. It continues until you die. So always look at the positive side. You have so many sins. I have more than your sins. Yet this doesn't mean that the calamity that has befallen upon you is due to your sins. Remember that Ayub, Jacob, peace be upon him, Prophet Ayub was bedridden for 18 years. And he's a prophet of Allah Azza wa Jal. Do you think that Allah Azza wa Jal is testing him and putting these calamities because of his sins? Definitely not. Allah is elevating his status. And that is why whenever we talk about patience, we say Sabr Ayub. This is the patience of Ayub. So try to weather this phase away by being patient, by being grateful, by being thankful that you are a Muslim. You could have been a non-Muslim, but Allah Azza wa Jal has created you a Muslim with these calamities. Be grateful and thankful to Allah, and you will find the sweetness of such a calamity. And his last question, Abu Iman, is about some masjids we enter or some posters when you have the name of Allah, Muhammad. Only these two in circles. This is not permissible at all. This is disrespectful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is disrespectful to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. When he said, do not go into extreme, do not exaggerate in me. I am merely a servant of Allah Azza wa Jal and his messenger. So always the prominence is to Allah's name. And that is why the seal of the Prophet ﷺ that was engraved on his ring, it was Muhammad Rasulullah, Muhammad the Prophet, or the messenger of Allah. But it was not written Muhammad the messenger of Allah. It was written in the other way around so that Allah's name comes on top. It was Allah, Rasul, Muhammad. And this shows you the respect that the Prophet had ﷺ, to Allah the Almighty. Yusuf from Saudi Arabia. What's the ruling on her daughter who is in her menses to go for classes of tajweed in the masjid and of recitation of the Quran? If the classroom is inside the fence of the masjid and it's considered part of the masjid, it is not permissible for a woman in her menses to enter that area. But if it's somewhere, it's a separate building and nobody prays in there, and it's away from the masjid building itself, in this case it is permissible, and Allah Azza wa Jal knows best. Brother Ihsan says that he was told that night prayer cannot be prayed before midnight, and this is wrong. Night prayer can be prayed immediately after Isha prayer. So if we conclude our Isha prayer and we offer 2 rak'ahs of Sunnah, you can pray night prayer immediately at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock, depending on where you are. But tahajjud, which is one form of night prayer, is different. Tahajjud has to be preceded by sleeping. And if you slept after Isha immediately and woke up at 11 o'clock and you performed ablution and started praying, this is considered to be tahajjud, and it's also part of Qiyam al-Layl, so you have no problem. He's asking about working in Dubai, and his boss is telling him that when you sell one of our products in a currency different than the Emirates dirham, then you should add a little bit of margin, and this is completely halal. as long as you're selling it, I can sell you this for 5 dirhams as agreed upon. If someone comes to me and says, I don't have dirhams, I'd like to buy it in dollars, I say, okay, I need $5 for this. And the rate is definitely way down, but this is my product, I can sell it with whatever price I want. So what your boss is telling you is legitimate. Don't forget me from the percentage. It's halal, inshallah. Fatima from Saudi Arabia, she says that if I perform wudu and I apply body lotion or hair gel or creams, whatever, does this affect my wudu? The answer is no. What affects your wudu is anything that comes from your private part, if you sleep, if you eat camel's meat, if this and that. These are the things that nullify your wudu. Applying things on your body does not affect your wudu. And she says that I have jewelry, I have my mahar, I have a number of things, but they are below the nisab level, below 85 grams of gold. Do I have to pay zakat for that? Definitely not. Apparently she's been paying zakat, but there is no zakat. There are 2 conditions for zakat to become mandatory. One, that you have the nisab, the minimum amount, which is 85 grams of gold or 595 grams of silver. The second condition is that a whole lunar year passes while you're having this amount in your possession. You don't have one of the conditions fulfilled, therefore there is no zakat for you until inshallah you get it. Now she says that in her home country there are different groups, and there are people who are trying to call these groups who make shirk, make innovation, make a lot of distortion to Islam, and they deviate it from Islam. There is a group that tries to call them to Islam, but there is a drift, there is a division, and people are being segregated by people following the Sunnah or people who are following innovation. And she's asking, what is the ruling on this? This would continue till the Day of Judgment. And not only in your home country, in Saudi Arabia, everywhere. This is the fight and the eminent division between truth and falsehood. So those who are on the truth, they should have wisdom, they should know when to talk and what to talk about, and they should continue to do this until the day they die. No compromise, but at the same time, they should not be violent, they should not be rude and harsh. They should try to win the situation rather than make a point. And Allah Azza wa Jal knows best. We have a short break, stay tuned, and inshallah we'll be right back.
In a game of golf, both the caddy and the golfer have the same goal, to get the ball into the hole. Interest-free banking is similar. With a clear view of the fairway, a predefined agreement without shifting targets, things should end up where you want them. Your deposits are safe, and your funds are ethically managed with a transparent and equitable approach to sharing risk and reward. No interest burden means more time to relax without the worry of nasty surprises. Rest assured, our interest is mutual. Jazz Bank, Nigeria's first full-fledged non-interest bank.
Are you looking for a way to recharge your hearts, or to get you back on track in your obedience to Allah? Or maybe you're looking for a program to remind you of your duties to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Here on Living Hearts, we'll be working together as a nation, helping each other to remain firm in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Every Saturday, live on Huda TV, you will have a chance to learn your deen, and at the same time, listen to real life stories that will make your heart shake. Every believer needs a place to turn, and inshallah, we can all turn to Living Hearts.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome back. I believe we have Amina from Qatar on the line. Amina?
Hello?
Yes.
Yes, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Listen to me from the phone and mute your TV, please.
Sorry?
Mute your TV.
Yes,
Mute.
hello, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Sheikh, I just want to clarify how to perform the sujud asaw.
How to what?
How to perform the sujud asaw.
Sujud as-sahw, okay.
Because I want to, the case is in performing the, making the Maghrib Salah.
Okay.
The case is, you are in the first sujud in the second raka'ah.
Okay.
Then, after arising from the prostration of the first sujud, we stand up and performing the Surah Al-Fatiha. You recite the Surah Al-Fatiha. You forgot to sit between the sujud, which is performing the first tashahud.
Okay.
Then after the reciting of the Surah Al-Fatiha, that's the time I remember that I forgot to perform the first tashahud. What will I do?
Okay.
Do I have to continue the praying that pillars that I'm doing, or do I have to?
I will answer you.
Perform the sujud asaw.
I will answer, inshallah.
What is the right?
Okay.
Right way to do?
I will answer. Abu Hanan from the Emirates. Abu Hanan?
Yes. Ma'am.
Yes, bro. What's your question?
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Sheikh, I just need the amount so I can call you offline.
You want to call me offline. So the brothers in the control will give you my mobile number, inshallah.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome, akhi. Hayyakallah. Jamil.
Yeah, say Jamil.
From?
I'm calling from Jeddah.
Okay, hayyakallah, Jamil. What can I do for you?
Can I have a... Hello?
Yes, bro.
Yeah. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
See, I just want to know, when Prophet Muhammad went for Miraj, did he see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala?
Okay. I will answer your question, inshallah.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so we go to the questions. Ahmed from Saudi Arabia is suffering from an illness for the past few years, and it's uncurable until the moment. So she's asking, is there any dua, anything I can do? First of all, any person that asks me the same question, I would always tell them, who is the only one who can cure your illness? Without any hesitation or doubt, they would all say Allah Azza wa Jal. And if you believe in that, then Allah will cure you. The problem is that we say, yes, I believe, and I'm going to do ruqya, and I'm going to do dua, and few days later, nothing worked. No, Allah is not answering my calls. Allah Azza wa Jal is not answering my dua, and they give up. You have to humiliate yourself. You have to show Allah submissiveness and poverty. Show Allah that you are in need for Him. Only then Allah Azza wa Jal would answer you. And there are a number of ways for you to start the process of asking Allah to heal you. You can do ruqya, and ruqya is one of the greatest weapons that any person with illness, evil eye, black magic, jinn possession, envy can treat himself with, by simply reciting the surahs, the ayahs that would cure you. Al-Fatiha is the greatest surah in the Quran, without any doubt. And the Prophet told us that it is a ruqya, and it is a mean of healing, and it's called ash-shafiyah, the one that cures. So reciting the surah Al-Fatiha, Ayat al-Kursi, the greatest ayah in the Quran, the last two ayahs of Surah Al-Baqarah, the Qul Huwallahu Ahad, Qul A'udhu Bil-Falaq, Qul A'udhu Bin-Nas, the last three chapters of the Quran, If you do ruqya, whether you blow in your hand and wipe yourself, or read these surahs 1, 3, 5, 7, odd numbers over a bottle of Zamzam water and blow every time you recite it, and then you drink from it evening, morning, afternoon, and before you go to bed, wash the areas that are affected, believing that Zamzam water is a source of healing, as the Prophet told us, ﷺ. And with the Quran, which is the source of healing, combined together, this is a formula of success. Going to Mecca for Umrah and staying after finishing your Umrah next to the Kaaba, raising your hands, praising Allah, offering salutation to the Prophet ﷺ, and sincerely asking Allah to cure you, this is also part of the means of healing, and Allah knows best. Amina says that in her Maghrib Salah, she stood up to the third rak'ah, and after reciting the Fatiha, she remembered that she did not offer the first tashahhud. What to do? Continue your prayer. Continue the Fatiha, and then bow, raise from the bowing, offer 2 prostrations, and then sit for tashahhud, and do the last tashahhud. And before you conclude your prayer with salam, offer 2 prostrations of forgetfulness. And this is what the Prophet ﷺ did once, and he ordered his companions to do that as well. Abu Hanan from the Emirates, I forgot his question. The funny thing is, I did not write it down. Apologies, Abu Hanan. If you can call me, akhi, wallahi, I'm getting old for this. Jamil is asking, from Jeddah, he's asking, did the Prophet say, alayhi salam, see Allah Azza wa Jal, the Almighty, when he did the miraculous night journey and he was elevated to the 7th heaven, did he see Allah Azza wa Jal? The Prophet said himself, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that it was light. How can I see him? So the Salaf differed whether he saw Allah Azza wa Jal with his heart or not. But did he see him with his eyes? And the answer is definitely not. This is for sure that the Prophet did not see Allah Azza wa Jal with his eyes. No one is capable of seeing Allah Azza wa Jal with his eyes in this life. And on the Day of Judgment, in the hereafter, the greatest reward any Muslim who is admitted to paradise would receive is to see Allah Azza wa Jal. And this is when Allah Azza wa Jal would remove the veil, and the best favor and blessing of Allah upon us, may Allah make us among those who share this blessing and favor, is to look to Allah's beautiful face. Okay, now Muhammad said that, you said in your website that it is written in our qadr that whether we will die as Muslims or as kafir. Can you elaborate, as I am more scared now? There's no reason to be scared in the sense of the negative fear. Fear is negative and positive. If fearing that you will die as a kafir initiates that you stay steadfast on Islam, praying on time, offering charity, fasting, voluntary fastings, saying the truth, never lying, never sinning, then this is a positive fear. But if the fear is negative, this would make you relax and sit down and say, I'm going to hell both ways, so why should I pray? Why should I do anything? This is negative. Now, everything that we are doing at the moment, it has been written 50,000 years before Allah Azza wa Jal created the universe. So everything we're doing at the moment, it's recorded, it's had been preordained. For example, I say, I'm going to pick the pen, and I pick the pen. This is written. I'm going to put the pen down. This is written. So I'm thinking, I'm going to pick the pen, then I change my mind. This is also written. Every single thing that you do, are you going to do, has been over and done with. One would say, this is unfair. Why would I go to hell if Allah Azza wa Jal has already ordained that I become a kafir, or I would sin, that I would do this or that? Akhi, do you know what Allah has ordained upon you? You don't. It's your choice. You said, no, but Allah Azza wa Jal could have changed it. Allah Azza wa Jal could have done this or that. Listen, go to the highest building in your city and go to the roof and jump like 50 stories down and say, if Allah ordained it, I will fall on my feet and I walk without a scratch. And if Allah didn't, then I will die. Go ahead and do it. He said, hey, are you crazy? I'm not going to do that. Why not? He said, no one in his right mind would fall from the roof of a 50 stories high building. You're crazy. He said, so now you're making a choice not to fall. He said, yes. He said, likewise in sins and mandatory things. If you choose to sin, not to do mandatory things, then you are choosing to go to hell. This is your own doing. Akhi, Allah showed you the way. This leads to paradise and this leads to hell. Which one are you going to choose? Well, hell looks more fun. Paradise is a little bit gloomy and extreme. So, okay, it's your choice. So don't be afraid the negative way. Be afraid in a positive way. Thinking that, okay, I'm going to do my level best. I am going to try my best not to die except as a Muslim. And then whatever Allah has ordained, this is not in my capacity. And you do your best, and believe me, once you do your best and you think positive of Allah, you will have positive results, inshallah. Dawood is asking about the income tax and he's saying that this is unjust and forbidden according to the Sharia law. Now, being in a non-Muslim state where income tax is compulsory, is it allowed to avoid it by hiding some income or declaring wrong information to the government in annual income tax return forms? And the answer is, Akhi, if you're living in that country because you're a citizen, then you should obey the rules and regulations of that country. If you're staying there as a resident, a foreigner, then you've signed papers when you submitted for your visa, and you acknowledge the rules and regulations and pledge to comply. It is not befitting of a Muslim to lie. It is not befitting of a Muslim to submit false papers. If you can't go by their laws and regulations, leave their country. It's like car insurance. It's mandatory in all of Europe. Now, insurance is haram. But as long as you're driving there, you have to pay that insurance. And Allah knows that this is a necessity. And likewise with the income tax, if you're going to lie, this is not permissible. If there is a legal, and I quote unquote, if there is a legal way to evade these taxes and no one would prosecute you or call you a criminal, and everybody is doing this, well, go ahead and ride the boat and take the wave, no problem. But once you lie, it's not gonna be, what's his name? Dawood's lied. It's gonna be a Muslim extremist, evaded taxes, and he lied about his income, and he did this and that. So always as a Muslim, try to stay clear from having any spot, any form of tarnish on the reputation, not yours personally, but on Islam, and Allah Azza wa Jalla knows best. Atif from Saudi Arabia.
Assalamu alaikum.
Salam rahmatullah.
Yeah, I have a question. During Mi'raj, in a narration, it is mentioned that Prophet ﷺ has seen Hazrat Musa alayhi salam in his grave in a state of praying. So, by using this narration, some people, conclude that it states that Prophet ﷺ is also alive in his grave. And then they go on and then they continue saying that, which means that when we talk and when we ask him something while going on his grave, he can listen to us and etc. So can you please clarify this state of Hazrat Musa alayhi salam and how we can just refute to this in saying
okay, I got your question.
Life and etc. And so if you can throw some light, it will be great.
I will inshallah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, we have another caller, but we don't have another caller anymore. Atif's question was in the night journey of Isra and Mi'raj. Isra to Jerusalem, Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa, and Mi'raj to the seventh heaven. The Prophet saw ﷺ while he was with Jibreel on the Al-Buraq, this mount that took them to Jerusalem. He passed by the grave of Moses and he found him praying. And then he went to Jerusalem and he led the prayer. And this is an issue of dispute, whether he led the prayer before the night journey or when he descended from the heavens. And he also led Moses there, and he met him on the sixth heaven, and he met him there as well. So some of the Sufi brothers say that the Prophet ﷺ is alive in his grave as Moses is, and that the Prophet ﷺ can hear us and he can answer what we call him and this and that. So he's asking me to clarify. Akhi, there is no doubt that the Prophet ﷺ is alive in his grave. But what kind of a life is it? Is it like our lives? Is he alive like us now? If he is, then the logical thing to do is to open the grave and have him come out to solve our problems and to teach us. But no Muslim says this. This is insane. His life is the life of barzakh, which is at all unlike our lives. It's different. It has different shapes and forms, and that is why, imagine, the Prophet saw Moses praying in his grave, and then he saw him in Jerusalem, and then he saw him on the sixth heaven. This is miraculously done, but this is the life of barzakh. You cannot understand them. The souls of martyrs are in the lungs of green birds flying in the trees of heaven, and yet they have some relationship with their bodies in the graves. So the life of barzakh is completely different to what we have. For your information, the levels of hadith are different. There is ahad, there is mutawatir, there is mashhur, gharib, hasan, sahih, etc. The highest level of authenticity is al-mutawatir, which means that it is so widely spread among the Muslims in all levels of narrators that it cannot be a lie at all. And one of the hadiths that is mutawatir is the hadith of the pole, or of the pool of the Prophet, that is, the pool of the Prophet ﷺ, where people come to drink from. And the Prophet tells us, and this is the highest level of authenticity, a group of Muslims come to drink and the angels stop them and put them away. And the Prophet objects and says, "O Prophet of Allah, oh my Lord, these are my ummah, ummati, ummati." And the Prophet is told, "You do not know what they have innovated after you." Now, quote unquote, you do not know what they have innovated after you, which means that the Prophet ﷺ in his grave does not know what's happening in this world. So the Prophet says, "Doom and destruction be upon them." So the Prophet does not know what's happening in this world. So if you go and talk to him, and if you go and supplicate to him, this is shirk. In the Bukhari, when Umar ibn Khattab and the companions of the Prophet ﷺ, may Allah be pleased with them, were in a state of drought, they went out to the desert to ask Allah for rain. No one went to the grave of the Prophet ﷺ and said, "Oh Prophet of Allah, we have rain. Supplicate to Allah so that rain could fall upon us." They did not do this. So whoever does this is an innovator, and he falls under the threat of falling into shirk. I'm afraid that this is all the time we have for tonight's program. Until we meet you next time. And I hope, inshallah, that next time would be on the 9th of February, which coincides with Saturday. So the time of the program would shift from Friday into being same time every Saturday. Until then, I leave you fi amanillah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Allah is my heart's speech. Your mercy is what I beseech. Keep in my heart your remembrance, and in your deen allow me to advance. Help me in my quest. Permit me to pass the ultimate test. Help me in my quest. Permit me to pass the ultimate test.
My confusion is that now the birthdays are very common all over the world, including majority of the Muslims are doing it. So it is not imitating others anymore. So the main conclusion is that even if we consider this coming under imitating others, just because the origin was from others, then also the jeans, wearing tie and coats, all are initiated by others, not by Muslims. So how come we are not saying that this is haram, wearing tie and coat, that celebrating birthdays are haram? This is my first question.
Second question?
Yeah, second question is regarding placing the dead body in the grave. I was reading in a book, it states that when you place the body in the chamber, it should be placed on its right side facing Qibla, and in a way that as we sleep according to Sunnah. But what I have seen in my country, in Pakistan, that normally they put the body as if the back is touching the ground and only the face turned to Qibla. So I just want clarification, what is the correct opinion? And if you can please give the evidence, this would be great.
Okay, I will answer your question, inshallah.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Brother Masood from Oman.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Sheikh, I wanted to understand Allah's word. بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا تتخذوا اليهود والنصارى أولياء بعضهم أولياء بعض. I just wanted a brief understanding in this ayah.
Okay. Inshallah.
That's all.
Okay, I will try my best, inshallah. Abu Iman from Emirates.
Hello, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Sheikh, I have 3 questions, if you don't mind.
Yes.
One is, I would like to know what is the...
Is Tahiyatul Masjid required in Haram Mosque before starting any Nafil Tawaf? This is a misconception that a lot of the Muslims have. They believe that all masjids, you have to pray 2 rak'ahs before you sit down, and this is correct. But when it comes to Al-Masjid Al-Haram, the holy mosque of Mecca, they say no, it's a different story. You have to offer the tawaf, which is Tahiyatul Masjid Al-Haram. And this is a misconception. The holy mosque of Mecca is like any other mosque. If you want to sit down, you must pray 2 rak'ahs before sitting down. But if you go for your umrah and you begin with your tawaf, then you have no problem because you didn't sit down. After you finish your tawaf, you go and perform 2 rak'ahs behind the maqam of Ibrahim. This suffices. So these 2 rak'ahs that you have prayed allows you to sit afterwards whenever you want to do so. Umar from Pakistan. Yes, brother Umar.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh.
How are you, Sheikh? Fine?
I'm fine, Jazakallah khair for asking.
Sheikh, I have a question.
Yes.
My brother had closed account in the bank.
Okay.
So after closing the account, the bank gives interest money as well, extra interest money.
Okay.
So my question is that where this interest money should be spent? Can you give it to the poor people?
Okay, I will answer your question. Any more questions?
Okay.
Wajazak. Abdullah from Wa alaikum assalam. Abdullah from Nigeria. I think we've lost brother Abdullah. So brother Umar's questions is about the bank giving interest over an account that his brother closed. What to do with bank interest? Whenever you have haram money that comes to you without your will, or you have received it through haram.
My first question is that I teach in an Islamic environment school, but British curriculum,
okay.
And I teach English. So there is a chapter about monsters in it. Before I start the chapter, I make it a point to tell the students that, in Islam, such things are not there. Because so many chapters have wizards, and they have to write stories about monsters and everything. So is this job permissible? And my second question is...
I didn't get your first question. You teach in English in a school, and you're objecting on the material you teach?
Yes, I mean the books that we get from Britain, the British curriculum school, we have to teach the students about monsters and wizards and witches. But before we do the chapter, I tell the students that in Islam such things are not allowed. But because we are following British curriculum, we have to study this chapter. It's not in our hands to skip it.
Okay. Your second question.
So is this allowed? And my second question is, if I want to sell medical books and those products have female pictures on it, is it allowed to sell them? Because it's like I am just a retailer and I bring books, medical books, and educational books they have some pictures of females on it and males.
Okay, I will answer the question, inshallah.
Jazakallah.
Brother Atir from Saudi Arabia?
Yes.
Yes, bro.
Yeah, yep. I'm just waiting for my turn, yeah.
Your turn is on, Akhi. What is your question?
Sorry?
This is Asim.
Okay, sorry, Sheikh.
No problem.
Alaikum
Salam, ya akhi.
Yep. I have two questions. My first question is that I was reading different fatwas regarding celebrating normal birthdays, and most of the fatwas, including that this is haram because it comes under imitating others.
Okay.
So
means, and you would like to cleanse and purify your wealth from it, it is recommended that you give it in means of charity. And you will not be rewarded for that. You're not intending to get closer to Allah Azza wa Jal through this filthy money or dirty money, but you want to cleanse your wealth from it. So give it to means of charity, whether you give it to the poor, you give it to someone who's in hospital and cannot afford his medical treatment, you give it to someone who needs to admit his children to school or to buy them clothes or to pay the bills. All of this is permissible, inshallah. Muti' al-Rahman's question, what should I do if I forget to sit for the tashahhud in the second rak'ah? Now he's referring to a prayer such as Maghrib or such as Dhuhr and Asr and Isha, where you have 3 or 4 rak'ahs, which means that you have 2 tashahhud. One in the second rak'ah, and the third one, or the second one, is in the third of Maghrib, or the fourth in Dhuhr, Asr, and Isha. So he said that I stood. Okay. So let me finish my question, and I'll take man's question from Dubai. Give me a second, please. So if you stand up from the second rak'ah to the third without sitting for tashahhud, and you remember, you cannot go back because you already stood up for the third rak'ah, which is a pillar, and the second rak'ah, the second tashahhud, or the first tashahhud in the second rak'ah is mandatory. So you cannot leave something that is a pillar to something that is mandatory. What to do? Continue your prayer as normal and do your tashahhud for the last rak'ah, and after you finish, offer 2 prostration of forgetfulness and then offer salam, and your prayer is complete, inshallah. Man from Dubai or man from Dubai?
Yes, assalamu alaikum, sir.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Sir, my name is Sister Moon, and I want to ask you a question.
Yes.
Allah is my heart's speech. Your mercy is what I beseech. Keep in my heart your remembrance, and in your deen allow me to advance. Help me in my quest. Permit me to pass the ultimate test. Help me in my quest. Permit me to pass the ultimate.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على عبده ورسوله المبعوث رحمة للعالمين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Dear brothers and sisters in Islam, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to this new episode of Ask Huda Live, coming to you from Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. Until we get your phone calls, and you will find the numbers inshallah at the bottom of the screen, we will answer some of the questions pending from the emails. Galima says, is sujood as-sahu compulsory to do if a person is in constant state of doubt? That is, doubting number of rak'ahs, doubting number of sajdas with almost every single prayer. The answer is yes. What she's referring to is a severe case of OCD, when people continuously, each and every prayer, have doubt whether I added some rak'ahs or sajdas, did I pray enough or not enough, and all of this is from shaitan. So you should do your level best, try your level best not to allow shaitan to overcome you and to destroy your prayer. However, while you're trying this, yes, if you're in doubt, you should always offer the 2 forgetfulness prostrations, whether you added or subtracted, whether it's before salam or after salam, as described to you before. Sheikh Bilal says